Right there. Go boom. Go boom. Go boom. Yo, so Canelo's fighting Jaime Munguia. That's a great fight. In fact, that's a very dangerous fight for Canelo Alvarez. Let me put it to you in this perspective. Who's a better trainer, Freddie Roach or Jose Benavides Sr.? I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? And in fact, I'll go on and say this. If Jaime Munguia had one more fight under Freddie Roach, Jaime would beat Canelo Alvarez. That's just the way I feel like it, man. Look, obviously Canelo is a really good fighter, but Jaime is that new guy in the block. I believe so. I'm gonna go a step further. Jaime under Freddie Roach is a better fighter than David Benavides at this point of contention, right? If they were to fight Canelo, because David is very basic. And the only reason why David is good at 168 is because he's much bigger and stronger than these guys at 168. Whereas Jaime, kind of like Demetrius Andrade, moving up in this third weight class, right? Because they both started at 154. Jaime has more upside than David, right? But obviously David has that power, singular punches. But in terms of a defensive standpoint, Canelo pieces apart flat-footed fighters. In that last fight, Jaime showed that he can do tactical retreats. He can fight off the back foot and use full extension of his arms. Now, if he's able to piece that together, stand in the pocket, and more importantly, hit Canelo to the body. Don't just headhunt. But if you tire out Canelo even more so and you dig to the body, Jaime has a really good chance of beating Canelo. Everything has to be a strategic game plan. Canelo has great defense. He's got a great chin. If you're looking to knock out Canelo, Jaime, you already lost. But if you attack his body and make him get even arm heavier and tire out his legs, Canelo still, to right now, 70 fights deep into his career, still has stamina problems. Again, I'm going to repeat. I believe Jaime is a better fighter than David. He's not stronger than David, but Jaime has a better chin. He's much more experienced, and he's been through the ringer. A lot of things that David Benavides has not experienced, Jaime has. Vince Vargas, salute to you, brother. Yeah, man, that's what I want to go out and say. Another thing that I want to talk about, Elijah Garcia, the middleweight from Arizona. The kid is looking dangerous. I'm really excited for this 20-year-old. He's going to be fighting this Saturday on the undercard of Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. Another spectacular fight that I'm excited for. Fundora might just pull the upset. I like Tim Tszyu. I like him a lot. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. If you guys watch the interviews, right? Tim Tszyu, he knows he's in a real fight. Keith Thurman wasn't going to present that fight to him. Sebastian will, right? Obviously, I would expect Tim Tszyu to beat Sebastian Fundora, given that the fact that they both fought Brian Mendoza. But Fundora might just pull the upset, man, and he might just become a unified champion. It's going to be very interesting. Very interesting fight, man. This weekend is pretty epic, right? We have Lindolfo Delgado on the undercard of Top Rank, Emiliano Vargas, Richard Torres, Raymond Murataya, Siniesa Estrada, and then Oscar Valdez versus Leon Wilson? Come on, bro. Don't tell me you guys ain't pumped up for that Friday's fights, bro. For free. Well, not free. You have to have ESPN Plus, but, bro, those are good fights. Those are good fights. Those are some good-ass fights. If only Amazon Prime would understand that the fights that they're hosting for the first time on that televised cast, if they realized that if they just put it on regular Amazon Prime, not pay-per-view, you guys would do very good numbers. You guys would do very good numbers. But the fact that you guys are putting it on pay-per-view, you guys are shooting yourself on the foot. You're doing a disservice to your guys' platform and to the die-hard boxing fans, let alone the casuals. My guys, you guys have to put that on a free fight on Amazon Prime. That's $20 for Amazon Prime, whatever it's cost, and then probably $60 more for it to be a pay-per-view. That's ridiculous. You guys aren't established. And when you aren't established, like the PBC did, they gave us Abner Mares versus Leo Santa Cruz, Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter, Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia, fights for free, let alone all the fights on Spike TV, NBC Sports, Bounce TV, True TV, all of the fights that they gave us for free. And you guys are already starting on a pay-per-view? Amazon, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? You guys are going to fall behind this weekend's fights on Friday because Top Rank's kicking your guys' ass. Vince Vargas goes Oscar Valdez versus Liam Wilson, Top Rank. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Shoo, man. That's some good-ass fights. I'm excited for them. Honestly, I think Oscar Valdez is going to lose. I just think Liam Wilson, if he fights discipline, if he uses his height, I don't think Oscar Valdez is going to overcome. I don't think Liam Wilson has good defense like Emmanuel Navarrete. You know, like I've stated before, Emmanuel Navarrete is very athletic. And, you know, even though he throws a lot of punches, he doesn't really get hit flush. And he's got this very awkward defensive because he's got extremely long arms, but he's got like some shoulder roll. Like he's got very underrated defense, Emmanuel Navarrete, and he's got a really good jab, and he knows how to utilize distance and positioning, as you guys saw versus Oscar Valdez. Liam Wilson, he uses a very elongated, like Russian style, almost like Victor Postol. If Liam Wilson stays to the game plan and tries not to exchange with Oscar Valdez, I think Oscar Valdez is losing, man. I would put money against Liam Wilson. I think he's body. I'm not gonna say he's gonna body Valdez because as we know, Valdez has a lot of heart. He don't have quit in him. You have to break his jaw, and even then, he's still gonna go 12 rounds. So I don't expect Valdez to get knocked out, but I do expect Liam Wilson to beat him by decision. If Valdez can't knock out Wilson, Wilson is getting that decision. Now I know it's in Arizona, so they could rob him, but that's just the way I see it. I think Valdez is done, fellas. Vince goes, it's cool to see Marv Nation on the bottom of the flyer. Shows that Top Rank, Golden Boy, No Limit Boxing, and Marv Nation. Oh, that's awesome, man. I didn't even know Marv Nation had a say in that fight. I wonder which one is Marv Nation's fighter. Obviously Top Rank, Golden Boy has Yocasta Valle, but yeah, I've never heard of No Limit Boxing, let alone I've heard of Marv Nation, but I don't know what fighter he has on that stable. Maybe it's with the Emiliano Vargas, because I know a few of the Vargas brothers have fought on Marv Nation, so maybe they have ins on that. But nevertheless, man, this weekend's fight, starting with Friday, impeccable. Vince goes, I sent you the pic on Instagram. Oh, for sure, man. I haven't been on Instagram for a really long time, man. I think it's been probably 2-3 weeks. I'm just kind of staying away from like everything, bro. I'm just, want to start off. Yeah, I don't know if I stated, but I just been kind of like a technology cleanse, especially with everything. Not that I'm going through anything serious or whatever, but it's just like, I wanted to take a break off a lot of stuff and just focus on some other things. But I'll probably hop on IG in a month or so. I just been haven't really been checking up, man. So I apologize, Vince, if you sent any messages and I haven't gotten back to you, bro. I'm not ignoring anybody. It's just, me and my lady are trying something new, I guess. Let me see if Drew and Speed are in here. I sent them a link, but really wasn't going to go on for such a long live. But yeah, man, that's my 2 cents with Jaime versus Canelo Alvarez. It's a very good fight. I'm excited for it. And I think it'll be a better fight than David Benavides. Canelo did say some wild statement. I don't think it's too chaotic, but he named his price. And he said, for me to fight David, I want 150 million. Okay. Which a lot of people, took it as disrespect or unrealistic. But to me, it's very realistic. And like Sam Lukowicz, the promoter of David Benavides, he understands the price. Right? Now he knows the price. Now he knows Canelo's demands, and it's 150 million. I think that's very realistic. If Turkey Ali Sheik right? If that was a pitch for Canelo to entice Saudi Arabia, if Turki Al Sheikh is paying 50 million to non-championship fights and exhibition matches, because Turki Al Sheikh, he's the one that's been funding Jake Paul and all them, and the AJ fights and the Francis Ngannou and all these mediocre fights, right? And he's overpaying these fighters. Then I don't see how 150 million is such an asinine demand from Canelo Alvarez, putting all his undisputed titles, legacy versus an undefeated, hellacious, dangerous, punches and bunches, right? And David Benavides, I don't think that's unrealistic, right? Because someone's going to upfront the money. Sam don't have it. Amazon probably ain't going to pay for that. And I don't think pay-per-view numbers can justify those numbers, but Turki Al Sheikh might. And if you're going to put on some garbage-ass fights over there in Saudi Arabia, imagine having the pound-for-pound king and Canelo Alvarez, who's been dominating and pushing the sport on boxing on his back for 10 years. 150 million to me is very realistic if Saudi puts up the money. Another topic. I'm a big fan of Canelo Alvarez, but doesn't mean just because I'm a fan of you doesn't mean that I'm not going to have my 2 cents in terms of criticize. Like, you know what I mean? This is what we do. We don't really deserve Canelo Alvarez because how many undisputed champions do we see that are active like Canelo? Maybe the only one is Naoya Inoue, right? The other undisputed champions, look at Crawford. He became undisputed. We haven't heard him since. What happened to Jermell Charlo when he became undisputed? Nothing since. When Usyk was undisputed at cruiserweight, I don't think he even defended his titles once. He went straight to heavyweight, and he fought old boy Tony Bellew, and then had a tough fight versus Derek Chisora, and then Joshua, right? But Canelo, when he became undisputed, he was still very active in fighting 2 times a year, right? And yet, especially the afición mexicana, right? They still don't support Canelo. Especially the fighters that have a lot of credibility that are retired, like Juan Manuel Marquez. Marquez should be ashamed of himself, man. Like, extremely. It's ridiculous how they don't back Canelo, bro. Like, it's like, again, we're hard on Canelo, but in reality, it's like, why don't we have the same demands that we push Canelo to have onto guys like David Benavides, onto guys like Naoya Inoue, onto guys like Bud Crawford? There's no pressure. It's all on Canelo. And that's one of the things that I respect about Canelo is that eventually he still gives us all the fights that we push for. So eventually he will fight David. He's going to fight David. Just the question for us is when, right? Like we've always stated before, we are a little bit impatient, and that's why Canelo is in the position that he is, and that's why the fans are in the position where they're at, right? Canelo has done an incredible job of building his career, right? On the flip side, so has David Benavides. He's done a great job to put himself in this position where people think that he's such a terror, that to the point where we can say that Canelo is scared of him. Sometimes I juggle my own thoughts as well, in the sense that I'm thinking to myself, like, shit, Canelo is afraid of David. And other times I got to check myself and be like, bro, nah, right? But Canelo, besides that, he stated what was his, price for that fight. He also says something that David only brings 25 pounds into the fight. Basically saying that he doesn't respect David's skills, but he does acknowledge that David is a big-ass dude. And that sounded like a little bit of worry in Canelo. Okay. As I stated sometime last year or the beginning of this year in January, this year is going to suck. I believe it's going to suck. We're only getting 2 good fights so far. Actually, I like Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu. And then in February, right, there was Raymond Ford versus that Uzbekistan fighter that was such an incredible fight. But in terms of the fights that we really want, Beterbiev and Bivol and Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. right? I think that fight happens in May or maybe June and July. I'm very excited for those two fights, as long as like the rest of the world. So I'm pumped, man. It's gonna be a good ass fight. I hope it is, man. Yo, shout out to these two dudes right here, Marco Barrera Jr. and Eric Morales Jr. Mini legends right here, man. The children of the legends duking it out. Solid, bro. Solid. These dudes are badass, man. Both national fighters. I have more sparring footage between these two, but you know, you're not even supposed to show this stuff. You know, you're not. A lot of people get their tempers flared up, and you know, you just start a war, and it's just not good, man. It's just not good. Yo, Vince, I got a question for you, man. What's your take on Canelo versus David? Do you think Canelo is fearful? Do you think, 150 million is a joke? Did that, make you lose hope in terms of the fight happening, or do you think like, all right, Canelo named his price, we're that much closer to getting the fight, or you think we're much further away? No. Let me know, brother. Let me know what your thoughts were on that David versus Canelo, man. Elijah Garcia is going to be fighting this Saturday. I think he's going to be opening the card for Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. He's fighting Kyron Davis. I'm a little nervous for Elijah Garcia in that fight because I respect Elijah Garcia's skills, especially after what he showed, the power in his defense in the pocket against that Manny Robles fighter, right? Armando Resendez, who just got off beating Jarrett Hurd. Elijah Garcia, man, he's wise beyond his years. But Kyron Davis, the fighter that fought David Benavides, might give Elijah Garcia a little bit of problems in terms of finding him. Because when Armando Resendez stood in the pocket and tried to bang with him on the Canelo versus Jermell Charlo undercard, Elijah was able to piece him apart. Head, body combinations were flowing. Elijah looked like a fucking monster. But when he fought that guy, before he fought Armando Resendez, which his name was, let me see. He is like, after Elijah knocked out Armando Resendez like under 7 rounds, he fought Kevin Salgado Zambrano. And Zambrano, you can almost say that he made it a draw. You know what I'm saying? And Kyron Davis is better than Zambrano. Kyron Davis has more experience than Zambrano, and he's been in there with David Benavides, and he was doing good versus David Benavides. Elijah might just have a little bit of problem with movers, right? Just a little bit of problem with movers. But we'll see if Elijah has, he knows what Kyron Davis is going to bring, jabs, 1-2s, and he's going to have good circular movement. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Elijah has learned from that Kevin Zambrano fight, and he's going to cut off the ring properly, man. Last but not least, Keith Thurman. I told you guys that the dude is a big disappointment. He's boxing's biggest disappointment. For all the gang of shit that he talks, the dude is always getting injured. Always getting injured. If there was ever a fighter that lost all the respect in the boxing community, Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman ruined his boxing legacy and his career. And it started when Errol Spence was putting the pressure on him. He never fought Errol. He never fought Kell Brook. And his inactivity, didn't want to fight Yordenis Ugas, got beat by Pacquiao, said that Pacquiao had little crocodile arms and he gets dropped in the first round. Bro, Keith Thurman is boxing's biggest disappointment, and he continues to show that. Like, I was so excited for that fight versus Tim Tszyu, and I knew Tim Tszyu was going to put a beating on him. And I will say this, that injury to Keith's arm, it's legit. I mean, he's 35 plus. He's very inactive. Imagine trying to gain weight, trying to gain muscle, sparring some young-ass cats for active, unified, or not unified, but undefeated champion in Tim Tszyu. You know Keith Thurman was pushing his body to the boundaries. But like always, man, that's your fault. There's a process to building a career like Canelo has, like David has in terms of how they go about moving weights or whatever the case may be. Keith Thurman doesn't have that knowledge and game. He doesn't have that understanding. Like, in what world do you think that you were going to beat Tim Tszyu? In what world do you think off inactivity you're going to move up to a new weight class where if you fought before in your first couple of fights, he fought at catch weights at 152. But what makes you think you're ready for a champion? Keith, you couldn't even beat Brian Mendoza right now. Brian Mendoza would body you, bro. So I know that that injury is legit. But again, this is another story, another freckle to Keith Thurman's career, how he's boxing's biggest disappointment. All right? He's boxing's biggest disappointment. As a guy that should have been on the pound for pound list, a pound for pound, a pay-per-view star. He just never lived up to expectations. He fell short against an older, aging Manny Pacquiao. The same Manny Pacquiao that Jeff Horn beat. Keith Thurman couldn't get the job done. It would have been extremely satisfying to see Tim Tszyu retire him by knocking him out. Keith would have given him problems for 3 rounds. And the rest of 9, they were going to be hellacious punishment. And Keith Thurman was going to quit. Kind of like when Virgil Hunter said to Keith Thurman, I'll pull you by that ponytail and snap your head back. That's what Tim Tszyu was going to do. Even though Keith Thurman no longer has that ponytail. When Virgil Hunter said that, I was like, shit, you better watch out, Thurman, bro. You're on people's hit list. Andre Ward is a joke. He's the American version of Juan Manuel Marquez when it comes down to Canelo, anything Canelo related. Andre Ward is another fighter, honestly, that should not be a Hall of Famer. The dude is mediocre at best. Like, his career, forgotten. None of us go watch an Andre Ward fight, only possibly Kovalev #1. And you only go to like the 7th or 9th round on Kovalev 2 just for the low blows. Andre Ward he's a disgrace for a boxer that's supposed to be a purist. The guy has so much hatred towards Canelo, and it's because anything that Canelo has done at 168 has overshadowed Andre Ward's career, that nobody even tunes in for Andre Ward's book, his documentary. And the only reason why you're relevant, Andre Ward, is because you talk shit towards Canelo Alvarez. As I stated before, if you guys feel a certain type of way towards fighters that are active, go and fight them. Canelo already beat your boy. He already beat your style. And that was Caleb Plant. All you had was a jab and a left hook, Andre Ward. You don't have a right hand. Same thing like Caleb Plant. All he has is a jab and a left hook. And what happened? Canelo knocked your boy out. He would have knocked your ass out too. Because the term Euro bums, like in terms of Arthur Abraham, Carl Froch, and all these dudes, George Groves, no disrespect to them, but they're not that good. Canelo would fuck them up. And Canelo has done a lot of things that you never will do, never accomplished. And Canelo actually has done that. When people wanted you to fight Bivol, Adonis Stevenson, Beterbiev, you can almost damn near say that Canelo was going to fight those guys, and he fought one of those 3 dudes. You didn't fight Volsdik. You didn't fight Bivol. You watched him spar. You did a little documentary. You told Bivol that, hey, people are going to say that, I didn't fight you after you beat Kovalev. And guess what? Canelo knocked out Kovalev. He did everything that you did, Ward, and Canelo just shitted all over your career. That's how I know you're a whack-ass Hall of Famer. I don't even know how you're a Hall of Famer, because you should not be revered amongst the greats like they do. The only reason is because you were a gold medalist. And they gave you that fight, the first fight against Kovalev. He beat you 7-5 plus a knockdown. You can even say 8-4. That's just the reality. Again, I'm not in this position where I want to defend Canelo because, we're not promised tomorrow. So in terms of getting the David Benavides fight, we have a sense of urgency to watch that, because I don't want to just watch it once. I want a second fight. And if those 2 fights are great, I want a David versus Canelo trilogy, because you know why? It could be like a Barrera versus Eric Morales. And I'm all good for trilogies as long as they're, Triple G versus Canelo Part 2. If David versus Canelo is anything close or resemble that second fight, why wouldn't I want a trilogy? So I don't just want to watch it once. You know what I mean? Like, as a fan, these are great fights. I want to see a lot of them, man. And honestly, bro, I think that's all I got to say. Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. That's a very good fight. This is a real fight, right? But I believe Tim Tszyu is just that guy. I think Tim Tszyu is a better version, an active, prime version of a Brian Castano. I think they're very similar. And I think Tim Tszyu should be able to beat Fundora. Fundora coming off a knockout loss to Brian Mendoza, coming off a year layoff. He's going to be good for 4 rounds, and then Tim Tszyu should figure him out. I will say this. If Fundora uses his arm length and his footwork and keeps distance, he's going to trouble Tim Tszyu. And he might even drop Tim Tszyu and make it bloody. But I still think he might be a little overzealous, and Tim Tszyu being as patient as he is, because he's fought. Excuse me, I didn't mean to burp, but you know, doctor says you gotta let it out. If Tim Tszyu has fought multiple styles in Tony Harrison, Brian Mendoza, and knocking out Carlos Ocampo in 1 round, and if Warp Speed is here, you owe me like $5,000, because I told you, bro. Man, I should just put that money up. I told Warp Speed that Tim Tszyu was going to knock out Carlos Ocampo in 1 round. On that night, Sam Goodman beat Raiz Alim. There was another fight that I won with like Julissa Guzman, and she beat some chick named Ali. And then I told him, bro, Tim Tszyu is going to knock out Carlos Ocampo. When I see him roll up in that 1964 Impala Super Sport, I was like, bro, Tim Tszyu's that dude. He's going to knock out Carlos Ocampo in 1 round. I'm going to put 100 because I just won 1,500. Let me put 100 to win 5,000. He's like, nah, bro, don't be fucking stupid, bro. Don't be stupid. Next thing you know, 1 minute into the round, he knocks out Carlos Ocampo, sleeps him, bro. I was like, I looked at my brother. I was like, bro, you know that 401 that you've been getting for your employment? I need that. Look, man, Tim Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. That's a good-ass fight. I'm excited for it. Obviously, the dude is Kevin Durant. He's a basketball player in the sport of boxing. Tim Tszyu is that guy. Like I said, he's like Brian Castano. If Brian Castano was active, it would look like Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu should knock out Sebastian Fundora. It'll be tricky because, bro, anytime that you're fighting a 7'5" dude with some long-ass arms and legs, you know, funky looking like he's going to go catch Pokemons like Ash, like, you know, it's always tricky. But with that being said, man, shoot, man. Tim Tszyu's that guy. Oh, come on, Adobe. What you doing, bro? Get the fuck off my screen, bro. Anyway, guys, I think I'm out. Let me see if Speed and Drew on here. Oh, my bad, Speed. I didn't even know, bro. Might check real quick. Yo, Speed, you got to unmute yourself, brother.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I hear you, man.
What are you're telling all these people that I owe you money? I gotta take out money from my 401k to give you the money that you decided to go with me and my lack of experience betting. And you, man, yeah. Now I feel bad. I said this already, but I'm not gonna take out no money from my savings account in order to pay you your non-winnings. Yeah, homie Ricky, I was just in a conversation with one of my buddies who was just talking about, I don't know, gun rights and extraterrestrials and all kinds of stuff. But it was one of those things where I was like, man, you got to be quiet because I got to up on this live. But anyways, how do you do, sir?
Man, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. You know, I do kind of miss talking a little bit of boxing, but only for short periods of time, man. And I'm already 30 minutes in, and I'm like, damn, I thought I was only going to go for 15, you know?
Yeah. Well, I miss it too. In fact, I miss it so much that I decided to go live on my own. Now, I will admit to this, that trying to handle a show just by myself and trying to fill in that space. Listen, I was able to pull 2.5 hours. So I know I'm a chatterbox, but I do miss the conflict, the differences of opinions that you and I sometimes have. I do miss the way that you perceive the world, and you're able to break down things much more concisely. And I do also miss the occasional argument that I have with Drew, who I ask him a question and he always asks, "What are you asking me?" Like he doesn't understand. But yeah, good even fall to one and all. Good even fall to you, homie Rick, and good even fall to Mr. Vince Vargas. It's good to have you back over here, Mr. Vargas. It's been a couple of weeks. I hope you've missed us. I hope you've had a heck of a time. Um, but yeah, it's been one of those things where I've been wanting to get back on it. There's been lots of topics of conversation with regards to the sport and things that we can look through the lens of the sport of boxing. But what were you addressing? I think you were talking about Tim Sue being the Australian Canelo, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I talked about that. I was talking about Jaime Munguia. I think I could be on the wrong here, but I just think Jaime Munguia is a better fighter overall than David Benavides. Obviously, David packs a punch. He's very strong. Um, but I don't think he can do it in 3 weight classes. And Jaime Munguia is doing it in 3 weight classes. He has basically double the experience, 20 more fights than David Benavides. And with under Freddie Roach, I mean, Freddie Roach is easily a better trainer than Jose Benavides Sr. So with those intangibles, Jaime should overall give Canelo a tougher fight. It'll just come down to a game plan. And check this out. Freddie has experience and going up against Canelo, were a smaller fighter in Miguel Cotto. Check this out. The best version of Jaime Munguia would look like Miguel Cotto. And Miguel
Ooh.
Cotto did a great job fighting Canelo, right? He outlanded Canelo. Canelo won the fight because he landed the harder, better shots and actually hurt Cotto, whereas Cotto just was landing a lot of jabs. But his defense, Cotto's defense, was great. Now, if Jaime can just figure out how not to get hit as often as he does, he could give Canelo a really good fight. As long as he attacks the body, doesn't get hit too much in the process, Canelo's going to be in a good fight. This
Yeah.
is definitely not a cherry. This fight is more dangerous than a Jamar Charlo fight. This is a more dangerous fight, in my opinion, right now than a David Benavides fight. David right now is just getting the respect and the hype of knocking out Demetrius Andre, which by no situation is that an easy task. And the way he did it and basically made Danny Rozier, protect Andre and be like, nah, bro, like, let's retire him. You know, he didn't look so hot against Caleb Plant. But nevertheless, man, we can also build off the momentum that Jaime, he knocked out John Ryder, did something that Canelo couldn't do, knocked him down multiple times, I think like 2 or 3, could be wrong, where Canelo only dropped him once and went the distance. So I don't really like to be like, but in terms of comparing, I think this is a better fight than David.
Yeah. Well, the potential is there. Look, I don't. This is one of those fights that it's hard for me to criticize because I do like both of these gentlemen and their fighting styles, right? Munguia, I don't think has ever been in a boring fight. And the reason we acknowledge the fact that he's rarely ever been in a boring fight is because he comes in there to fight, not necessarily to box. It's almost like he's always this unfinished product, and the fact that he's unfinished exposes him to to some defensive flaws that make it so that he gets harmed. So it's a very good fight because in any of those Munguia fights, anything could happen. I mean, we know that he can uh nearly be beat. Sergey Deremchenko almost beat him. Um, we had Josh Kelly. No, not Josh Kelly.
Jimmy Kelly.
Jimmy Kelly, who was giving him a heck of a run, really tagging that boy and just giving him all kinds of problems. So it's one of those things that we know Munguia has been in those kind of memorable fights that make you say, okay, he's not the best fighter, but he is also very scrappy and he overcomes his flaws and to win these fights convincingly and viciously, right? For the
But
most part.
is it safe to say that as great of a fighter Eric Morales was, that he wasn't such a great trainer? Kind of like Roy Jones Jr. He's a very good fighter, right? But look how he couldn't really control and, teach Chris Eubank Jr. So imagine what Freddie Roach is able to do with a second camp with Jaime Munguia. Jaime looked much more disciplined. He looked faster. It looked like he had a game plan against John Ryder. It wasn't just, I'm just going to use my youth and throw a bunch of chingadazos like David. No, it was tactical. There was an approach, and it worked.
Yeah.
Maybe Freddie is who Jaime always needed.
He destroyed John Ryder much more than Canelo, right?
Say again?
Didn't Munguia do a well? I mean, obviously you can't do a better job than Canelo, but he destroyed John Ryder, right?
Canelo, yeah, he won like 9-10 rounds to 2 plus a knockdown.
No, but I mean Munguia, he did the same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like it wasn't really a fight. It was just a showcase, I think John maybe landed like 5 good shots the whole fight, and Jaime was just like, like I said when that fight happened, Sergey Derenchenko is a very good fighter, right? He gave Danny Jacobs a really good fight, Triple G a really good fight. He's a really good fighter. He gave Jaime Munguia probably his first loss. With that being said, if Jaime fixes certain mistakes, John Ryder wasn't going to give him a problem, and he didn't. And I will go even one step further. Sergey Derenchenko is an overall better fighter than Demetrius Andrade and an overall better fighter than Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant, jab and a left hook. Sergey, inside fighter, distance, has good movement, can jab, beautiful combination. He's very crafty. Demetrius Andrade, we don't really know how good he is because he wasn't really that great at 160. Sure, you can knock out Jason Maloney in 2-3 rounds, right? But when it came down to like really big fights, I don't know, man. Demetrius Andrade was very rudimentary as best, relied a lot on his athleticism. And when that didn't work and you fought somebody that can match, or has one thing that is better than you, you get knocked out within 5. Derenchenko is a beast. The biggest problem with Sergey Derenchenko, I don't really know who his promoter was, but it's just inactivity. He's like 35 years old with only 18 bouts, and it's like, damn, bro, you're a guy who's probably been a champion, a multi-divisional champion, but somewhere along the way, some of these fights just didn't manifest, or people.
Well, he's Russian or whatever. That's really the problem, right? In fact, for the most part, people, they all said when Canelo was going to fight John Ryder, who's John Ryder? When Munguia was going to fight Sergey Derenchenko, who's Sergey Derenchenko? Munguia's fighting another bum. He's padding his record. One of those things that everybody says about Munguia, he's got 40-something fights. Who has he fought? Right? People forget that he fought Saddam Ali when he had just barely came from beating a Hall of Famer and retired, Cotto. He's got a couple of good fights. He became a champion in 154. Saddam Ali, he went 160. I think Munguia also held the belt there, and now he's at he didn't hold the belt at 160, right? No, Munguia didn't.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, no, because that Canelo would have been there. But no, look, Munguia versus Canelo is a heck of a fight. Absolutely. I do find it intriguing that we have a Hall of Famer and Freddie Roach on his corner, because I do agree he's one of those guys that can make you a way better fighter. Sort of like Joe Goosen, right? If you give those fighters that are a couple of losses under the belts, they're already talking about, on the back end of their career, and you put him up there with Freddie Roach or Joe Goosen, they will give you a few more years of explosive abilities. They'll expand your excitement level. They'll put you in some very good fights that you will overcome until you get to those A-level fighters, and then you'll lose, right? John Molina lost to Terence Crawford, and so forth and so on. But you never discount a Freddie Roach fighter, and I think it's a very good fight. But here's the thing, homie Ricky.
Let me ask you this before you go on
We
to the
all
next
wanted
one.
Benavides. We wanted Benavides. That's just the only thing I can say about it. I love Munguia. I love the fight, but we all wanted Benavides.
Yeah, I mean, we will get that fight. It's only a
You think
matter
so?
of
Where are we
time.
gonna get it? 175 or where?
Yeah.
Really?
If everything aligns correctly, if David
Wow.
is able to take care of business and beat Alexander Volstik, and then if he gets himself in a position to fight the winner of Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev, depending on how that fight goes,
Hmm.
if David does his job correctly and builds up his own version of his mega fight without it being Canelo, then Canelo will be like, so for example, if David Benavides were to beat Volstik and knock him out, that's an amazing. He puts himself basically at the mandatory position for Artur versus Bivol. And let's say
Hmm.
Bivol takes care of Artur Beterbiev, right? And then David fights Bivol and
Hmm.
somehow beats Bivol, then there's the fight. David would become
Whoa.
undisputed. There would be for something. Canelo would be like, "Ah, I can probably beat this dude. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Then we can potentially get that fight. Or another case scenario is Canelo, David, it beats the stablemate, Alexander Volstik of Canelo, then goes down to 168. And then depending on how he goes about talking shit after in the performance, after beating Volstik, if he goes like, I beat your I beat your boy who prepares you for Kovalev and prepared you for Bivol. Now I want you, motherfucker. Like if he goes out saying crazy shit, then we got ourselves another fight that could happen at 168. So there's many approaches that David can go about getting his mega fight with Canelo. It just depends. One is going to have to earn it and work the hard way by beating a lot of undefeated fighters, or the other
Yeah.
one is going to be like, you know what? I got to talk a gang of shit, push Canelo, slap him, do something, pull down his pants and fucking push him to the kick. You know what I mean? Like a kick, and then he's going to fucking fall on his.
Pants him, give him a wet willy.
Yeah, you got to do some shit like that. And then, Canelo's going to be like, well, what the fuck, Pendejo? What you doing? And I don't know, bro. I mean, there's many shenanigans and roads that he can go about, but David seems like a guy that's not going to really play into the theater in terms of like that. He's not going to call out and follow Canelo like Erislandy Lara or how Shannon the Cannon Briggs did with Klitschko. Nah,
That's
David has too
funny.
much
That's some
orgullo for
funny
that.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. David
But
has too
here's the
much
thing,
pride
homie
for that.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The layout of the future possible fights that you just detailed for the way that Benavides could actually get a shot at Canelo, which is basically go up in weight to 175, fight Vostik, beat Vostik, which is going to be a tall order because Vostik has that Canelo camp connection, right? Uh, wow, that was cool. Canelo camp connection. Triple C. He's got the Canelo camp connection. So he's sparring with some of the most well-educated, better resourced individuals, and some of the best. In fact, one of the best fighters in the world, Canelo. Right. So he's got to overcome that guy. The good thing is for David Benavides is that Bostic has been, rather laid off for the past 2 years. Maybe a fight a
No,
year.
he fought 3 times last year. Now, mind you, they were against nobodies, but there were 3 tune-ups after having a
Three
2-year
times
wait.
last year.
Yes, sir, 3 times.
Wow.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Well, there you
Crazy,
go. I
huh?
guess I don't know nothing about Bostic, but we have Bostic, who's obviously very active. I guess what? I did not know that. I really thought his last fight was about a year ago.
No, his
Nonetheless,
last fight was like 2, 3 years ago, prior to the 3 that he had in 2023, because he did retire after basically Artur Beterbiev knocked him out. He took a hiatus and a break from the sport. Then I think somewhere along the way, he rejuvenated himself with Canelo and his camp. Not to
mhm,
say that Eddie Reynoso was training him, but Vosdik on his first fight, comeback fight, he fought on that John Ryder versus Canelo undercard. And he looked pretty good for 5 rounds. Like he was just kind of going through the motions. And then when he wanted to up the pressure and really like load up on his shots, man, bro, he looked great. And he fought two
wow,
times more after that. So David, he's gonna be fighting someone pretty good. Like it's not like, oh, he's just off the couch and he's been 4 years removed from the sport. No, that would be Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. No, David's
yeah,
fighting a dog. And if he's able to knock him out, that'll be the second sparring, training
partner.
fight on that Canelo camp because he also knocked out Ronald Ellis.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
I
true.
feel a type of way about that, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then he would have to overcome that guy. And then here's the kicker. This is why I know David Benavides' tenure at 175 can be a permanent one. Mr. Turki Ali Sheikh, a man that I highly admire, His Excellency. And everybody said, "Oh, well, you call him Excellency. He's not your
His
Excellency." No, he's
Excellency.
excellent.
Oh, His
He's
Excellency.
excellent. I don't care. He does good for the sport.
How?
He Well, he's investing in it. He's making
Oh,
fights
wow.
happen. In
But yet
fact,
we weren't that courteous and respectful calling PBC our excellency,
they're not
and
making fights
they
happen.
invested into the sport and gave
They're
us a
not
lot
making
of
fights happen.
no. But when they were first in their fruition and their foundation and coming about, they gave us Abner Mares versus Leo Santa Cruz for free on Fox, Keith Thurman versus Danny and Sean Porter for free, Errol Spence versus
Here's
Leonard
the
Barber for
difference.
free, and we didn't say
Here's the
good things about
difference.
PBC.
Yeah,
All of a
here's the
sudden, we took
difference though.
Ali Sheik. Get out of
Let me
here.
tell you. Let me tell you the difference between
Like I
that.
said,
The
American fans, a lot of
PBC was
Mexican fans, they don't
the
appreciate
P.
good shit. That's why we don't have nice
The
things.
PBC
Don't
was
do that
spending
shit.
the PBC was spending millions of dollars that did not pertain to them from
What is Turkey
investors.
Ali Sheik
And you
doing?
know what Turkey Ali Sheikh is doing? He's putting money from his own country to provide opportunities for the boxing world at large. He's
What do you mean?
providing financial opportunities for fighters that are not even from Saudi Arabia. Think about
Can
that. They're
casuals
thinking,
attend these fights? Can
and here's
casuals
the other
go
thing
attend these
about it.
fights? Hold
These
on, can the
these
casuals attend
fights
these fights?
these fights that Turkey Ali Sheikh is putting on, one thing I'll tell you right off the bat is that they're not profitable. So
Can casuals attend these fights?
he's he's shedding money hand over fist in order for you to stream the fights illegally or whatever it is that you do. Why? Because he just wants to make these fights happen. He wants
Uh,
to see. Look, okay, I told you guys that I was gonna make a video about Turkey Ali Sheikh, but it seems that we're not gonna make it. So let me just spill
wow.
the beans about Turkey Ali Sheikh, one of the people that I admire the most in the sport of boxing currently. Mr. Turkey Ali Sheikh is one of the biggest boxing fans in the world. The fact that he is working for, Mohammed bin Salman, the princeling of Saudi Arabia, means that he has access to money in order to make these fights happen. MBS, which is the leader of Saudi Arabia, he's like his best friend or something to that effect, or he trusts him with the expansion of sports and athletics in their country. That's basically the task of Turkey Ali Sheikh. And one way to influence their young people and their future athletes is to bring some of the greatest athletes in the sport of boxing and wrestling and soccer and tennis to their country in order for them to be inspired. While a lot of our countries confuse our children by brainwashing us and making us think about all these crazy stuff, you know what those leaders of their country are doing? They're involving their future children in the sports and athletics and in the sciences in order to achieve a level of excellence for their people. These are people that care about making their country a better, safer, healthier place. This is what Turkey Ali Sheikh has been doing for years now. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Turki Ali Sheikh is gravely sick. Mr. Turki Ali Sheikh, he has cancer. He has tumors in his brain. He's been going to the best doctors all around the world in order to overcome these tumors, to be allowed more years to live, to see these fights happen. Why does he want these fights to happen? Because he is a scholar of the sport of boxing. He has a program where he has people researching boxing, its history, the names, building up a database of styles, history. He is writing the book of boxing. And now, after having invested so much into building this library of footage and of the annals of boxing and the written format, he is now trying to build his own legacy. He's trying to leave his history in the world. How is he doing that? By taking what he loves the most, which is athletics in particular, boxing, and trying to provide fights that he wants to see on the cheap in order for you to see them. So this is why I respect the man. He doesn't have to do any of these things, but he's doing all of these things because he is the ultimate fan with the power to make these fights realities. When the PBC ends careers, when Golden Boy starts fighting and making fun of Bob Arum, when Mr. Bob Arum prohibits their fighters to fight these other fighters because they're Russian or so forth and so on, Mr. Turkey Ali Sheikh says, you know what? I know how you guys operate. You guys want to fight? You guys will fight for any money. I have both of those things. I'll make the money presented to you at the table. I just want you to fight. Can we just stop with the BS and just get down to brass tacks? I put the money on the table. Get yourself in the ring. Duke it out. Simple as that. This is why I respect Turkey Ali Sheikh. You don't know that, homie Ricky. You don't know why Turkey Ali Sheikh is doing it. But I just wanted to clear that thing. His Excellency, buddy. His Excellency.
Okay, so first and foremost, he has cancer. So he has,
and he's gonna die pretty soon.
So basically, what he's trying to do, and what he's basically doing, is he's living.
Which I hope not.
He's living his best life to the fullest that he possibly can.
Yes, sir.
But he's not doing.
You're reaping the rewards. You're reaping the rewards.
Reaping the rewards. If I was reaping the rewards, casuals like myself would be able to attend these fights. Guess who's attending these fights? Only rich fucks.
No, they're his people.
Whoa. No. I didn't know Mike Tyson was his people. I didn't know Conor McGregor was his people.
No, bro. They're the people that are writing their John Hancock on his baseball cards, bro. That's what they're doing. But every other person that you see in the background, those people with the headdresses, who do you think they are?
Hold on. That same excellency that you're trying to propagate over here, PBC was doing the same thing, but they actually gave it to us for free. You see? And His Excellency is giving us Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI fights. Tommy Fury versus KSI. Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. That's the type of shit that you're condoning.
No. Fury, Usyk, Benavides, Bivol, and Better BF.
I just let you talk for like 10 minutes uninterrupted. So if you were to tell me...
Why are you saying... Wait. Why are you boiling down to Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fights? Wait up. Why are you boiling down to that when you're completely disregarding Usyk?
I'm giving you the foundation. I'm giving the foundation.
The foundation.
On top of that, he gave you Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. And if his scholars and his avid fan base knew about boxing, why the fuck are you giving us that fight before Usyk? Second most, ain't nobody trying to watch Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Did his avid boxing fans and his fucking liberal studies, did they teach him that was going to be a fucking second round knockout, let alone for pay-per-view? Hold on. Let me double down another bunch. Oh, he gave us Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk once or twice. Shouldn't that fight have been taking place in London for the UK fan base?
Nope.
Yes.
No, because that would mean he's trying to build the money. He's trying to bring those fights to his country. He has an obligation to his people, not to the UK.
You're Nancy Pelosi right now. You're manipulating the market. You're changing the game. Hold on. Because you're overpaying these fighters when they don't demand that pay. And what happens when you overfeed somebody, you make them lazy and complacent.
That's their problem.
Hold on. That was PBC's biggest mistake.
That's their problem.
Fighters and they got super lazy. Same thing what Turkey Ali Sheikh is doing. Hold on.
That's their problem.
No, wait.
Guess what? Canelo has become super wealthy and he's been super rich for at least 5 years. And guess what? He's never stopped hustling. Okay, so that just comes to discipline. That just comes to discipline. If you don't know how to handle your stuff, that's on you.
Bro, he's on that clenbuterol. Dude, if you tell me I'm gonna
eat here we go. So see how you just keep pushing the goalpost.
Bro, you know he's still eating clenbuterol right now, bro.
Okay, yeah, okay. What? Oh, yeah, because you're feeding it to him.
Hey, Drew, salute to you, bro. Mic check real quick.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello. Warp Speed, is that you?
Hey, he did that. Oh, he did that on my first live. He was like speaking like one of those guys that you press like a button. You press like a button on the phone, and then it says press 1 for this, press 1 for that.
That's you.
What's going on, bro? How you been, man?
Good, man. Just fucking listening to Speed interrupt you a lot.
Yeah, like always, man. And then he asks, Drew. he asked, "Hey, how come you don't go live no more? What
Well,
you,
well, this is
you think I want to raise my blood pressure, bro?"
yeah, I know. Well, this is the thing. You have now,
Ho hum.
relax, speed.
Ho
You
hum.
have your own. You have your own platform now. You don't have. You don't. You don't.
Yeah.
Listen. You don't. You don't. You don't. You shouldn't feel the need to interrupt anybody. Now you have your own platform where you can talk on your own. I let you talk.
No, I brought you on yesterday in order for me to interrupt you. That's how the game is played.
Ah. Well, you can better interrupt people when you're in person, though. That's what I found out. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
anyways,
if you
man. Yeah.
continue to stutter and but yeah, of course everybody's gonna interrupt you, buddy.
Ah, not me. I'm gonna let you think it out. But anyways, um, yeah. But yeah, no, it's a lot of news, man. A lot of news. I'm glad you're live. Back back to some originality, you know. But yeah, no, you're talking. What's the subject? Tim Zoo, right? I seen Tim Zoo.
Everything. Elijah
Got you.
Garcia, Tim Sue, Sebastian Fedora, Keith Thurman, Canelo, bro. It's anything in
God,
around those
Yo
topics. I'm
Costa
with it,
Valle, Cines
God,
Estrada,
bro. Sinisa Estrada, all that, bro.
Liam
God.
Wilson,
Where do I
Oscar
start? Oof,
Valdez.
oof. Is that this weekend?
Yes,
Yup.
sir. Friday and
Yep.
Saturday, man.
Got
Yup.
you. Got you. So I'll talk about that then. Cause
Let's hear it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that Elam Walsh, fuck, that's gonna be a great fight. Stylistically, they're gonna be there to hit each other. I think Walsh is gonna be too big for him. Um, I think he's
I
gonna be a little
agree.
too. Huh?
I agree.
Yeah, I think he's too big for him. I think he proved that with Navarrete. So that's why I think it's gonna be a good fight because it's gonna require a lot of heart out of Valdez, you know. So that's what I like about it. It should be ending a knockout or a stoppage. Um, so yeah, cause knowing how Valdez is, he's just too small for him. He packs a punch, but only for his people in his own division, you know. And Walsh is a bigger dude. He punches a lot harder, naturally. And he's not even the hardest puncher in his own stable, you know. So, um, yeah, it should be a good fight. That's the main event,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Liam Wilson versus yes, that's the main event. Let me ask you a question. You putting
yeah.
money on that?
Um, yeah, I already did. I got it on a knockout. So I got Walsh.
Whoa. You think Liam Wilson's gonna knock out Valdez, bro?
That's what he
Uh,
said.
yeah, because I think when he gets he panics, and when he panics, he connects. But there's that's the thing. Like he doesn't have anything to panic about when it comes down to Valdez, because it's gonna be a little more predictable, you know, and he's gonna see those shots coming, especially with someone like his height. He has to reach a little further, and I think Valdez does come in punt like flurries and stuff, but they don't come in the angles that Navarrete comes in, you know. And
Yeah.
Navarrete's heart is like unmatched, you know. So he takes a lot of fucking pain, and has taken a lot of punishment, like physically, like he can get cut up, and Navarrete really can't. I haven't seen him get cut up a lot, but I know Valdez bleeds a lot in almost every
Yeah.
single fight, so it's gonna mess him up. Walsh can happen the same way, um, but I think Walsh has faced some tough punchers already, so I think it's gonna be nothing different with Valdez. It's probably just
Didn't he
some
get knocked out in Navarrete's hands though?
bro. He knocked down Navarrete, and then he Navarrete just kept coming back up. Can Valdez do that? You know,
Yeah,
can he come?
Valdez survived Navarrete, but Liam Walsh didn't.
I'm saying no. I know, but I'm saying Walsh is naturally a bigger dude. He's coming. He's been at this weight class. Valdez is going up in weight, so he's like that's what I'm saying. Like
Don't
he
forget
already.
Navarrete started at 126 though.
You're proving my point though. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Like
he started at 122. For some
yeah.
reason,
So
Yes.
that's a
So Emmanuel Navarrete could be a naturally bigger fighter three
all right.
weight
So hold
divisions
on.
higher than him.
So I hold on. Like so, Valdez.
Also put it
That's
like this. Liam Wilson was able to drop Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez. Bro, he couldn't even land a punch on them.
exactly. So I think Wall, like the fact that he was able to knock him down and actually hurt Navarrete. He was hurt
That's
in that
true.
fight. He was like genuinely hurt, but it's hard with Navarrete because his heart is unmatched. And that's what I'm saying. Can Valdez, I know he's got a chin. but can Valdez punch through the punches? Can he actually give the referees? Because I see us like the refs just stopping it because Valdez just has too much heart and he allows himself to get hit too much, and that's how I kind of see it happening. Like he's never the type to just go to sleep or like So that's what I'm saying. Like Valdez is gonna
No
just
one
keep
has
going with
able to
him.
stop Valdez, bro.
I know, but this is the thing though. Valdez is gonna get dropped. I think he will get dropped by fucking by Walsh's power. Like he has the leverage to do it. Like he doesn't have a bad chin. He doesn't have horrible footwork. He doesn't, his hand speed ain't that bad. Like I think, and he's a naturally bigger dude. So and with heart, he's shown heart already. But I'm not trying to say Walsh is like the best 130 pounder out there, but like he's definitely a tough dude to get by at 130. So
Is
he's
this
our
fight for a championship belt? Is there a belt on the line?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, because why wouldn't it be? Like it's a main event, top rank card.
Yeah.
So I think I'm pretty sure it is for a vacant belt at least. Um,
Here's the thing, guys.
yeah,
I want Oscar Valdez to win. I need him to win. Why? Because he says the next fight he wants to take on is with my favorite fighter, Vasily Lomachenko, a dream fight that he's personally had. If he wins against Liam Walsh, oh man, that would be a heck of a fight because both of those guys started at the same weight classes. Both of those guys are three weight divisions from where they initially started, and I love both of their styles and their
I think.
heart. That'd be an explosive fight.
Let me add something to that. Like Valdez, like this is the thing. Like that would be cool to see, but I think every Loma has his like people want that fighters want that Loma fight already, So like I know for a fact there's gonna be some kind of waiting for him because he only fights every now and then. So that dude that gets to fight get that Loma paycheck. At this point, they don't even get paid that much. It's just to have it on the resume, right? Just for like yeah, so I don't know. Just maybe Loma opens up more opportunities and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's feasible or like doable. Like it's got to
Well,
be a
that
bigger
fight
name.
will only happen at 135,
Yeah.
and Oscar Valdez, he's already limited at 130. He's
Yeah,
literally a 126 fighter.
it's a reach.
For some reason, he can't make 126. I know he's a little older, but also he's coming off a one-sided beatdown against Navarrete, where he might have just won one round. Right, his face was devastated, bro. It looked like raw hamburger meat. Fight should have been stopped. Like 3 rounds before the 12th. Like it
Yeah,
was just like, bro, you have
he just keeps
no
going.
chance, and your eyes are shelled up. Like you looking like Andre Berto when Robert the Ghost Guerrero just put a
True.
beating on you. On top of that, like I will say this: one of the biggest mistakes that Leon Wilson could do right now is try to look for the knockout. Just get the win.
Yeah,
Right? If the knockout comes, it comes. But use your height, your 5'11" height, your long arms, and fight like Victor Posto did against Lucas Matisse. If you fight that way, Oscar will be devastated. And then I could see you popping him, and where like Eddie Reynoso goes, you know what, dude? Wes, I'm not gonna throw in the towel, but hey, like I can
yeah.
see him, getting Lucas Matisse when Victor Posto popped that eye and just boom,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that's the way I see this fight. If
yeah.
if Leon Wilson tries to go for the knockout, which maybe you can be like, well, it's in Arizona, bro. Like they're gonna rob him, then that'll be a detriment to him. But again, yeah,
Oh, it's in
man.
Arizona.
Yeah, it's in Arizona.
Damn,
It's crazy, but
damn.
nevertheless, like he's
Why?
got
Why? Damn.
he's got to get the job done.
Because I made a bet.
And if he's able to, man, that's what it is.
Yeah, but you don't have to be concerned, Drew. The guy is bigger. The
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
took, Navarrete. Navarrete pieced apart Oscar Valdez. He knocked down Liam Walsh. Walsh. Is it Wilson or Walsh?
I
Liam
keep
Wilson.
Wilson.
Liam
I keep
Wilson. You
fucking
kept
it up.
confusing me, Drew. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
I know.
And he stopped him in the 9th round. I think this is going to be a very competitive fight. Now, let me ask you something. If Liam Wilson beats Oscar Valdez, who do you want to see him fight next? Oh man, you know what? I hate that. Let's not even do that. Let's just keep
Whoa,
it
whoa,
to.
whoa, whoa. Say that again.
No, it's because I don't like doing that because I hate thinking
Jumping
about
ahead.
future fights. Yeah,
Jumping
exactly.
ahead.
I hate doing that. But what if? Here's what I'm trying to get at is this: what can Liam Wilson bring to this weight class at the moment? What are the doors that open up with his presence?
Well, things are still up in the air with him. I think his size allows him to like move up in weight a little better.
Hmm.
I think like hell, like he's got a lot of options. You know, he's Australian,
Hmm.
so a lot of things can happen there. But I think the better question would have been, what if Valdez wins? What if he wins? What fight is he looking at now? If he knocks out, uh, I'm about to say it again, Walsh.
Uh
Yeah, well, Valdez. Well, at least on that point, on when it comes down to Valdez, Valdez stated that his dream fight would be Lomachenko. So that he's kind of
Mm.
already letting you know who he's interested in fighting.
After
And
that, who's his next opponent?
well, no, that would be it. That would be his
That's
fight
it.
with Lomachenko for Oscar Valdez. For Leon Wilson, run it back with Navarrete, bro. Like,
Mm.
imagine he becomes a champion and beats Oscar Valdez. Navarrete takes care of business and becomes a 135 champion from one of Devin Haney's vacated belts. Why
Mhm.
wouldn't Leon Wilson versus Navarrete be next?
Go, yeah, yeah,
Like, damn, like let's
yeah,
go, let's run that shit back.
yep.
You know, that would just make like too much sense. You know, but like you said, he's got a frame that could fluctuate up in weight. Boom, boom, boom. That is what Top Rank wants right now.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's a good fight right there. I think what would actually hold something up like a fight like that, and if Wall should actually like knock out Valdez, I think some of the like Shakur or even the top dogs like are looking at that Navarrete fight. I think that's something that would get in the way of a Walsh fight. You know, a bigger name, especially for Navarrete. There's also an Inoue out there that's on the hunt. I know he's at 126. No, he's at
No, he's at
122.
122.
Yeah.
No, I don't
122.
think that would be a
Never
fight
mind.
for Naoya.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
could also see Top Rank, like you said, make with Shakur versus Navarrete. Navarrete has already stated that he's interested in fighting the Shakur fight.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they should not feed these great fighters
Yeah.
and give them to Shakur. Like, nah,
No.
bro. Shakur don't deserve that fight. Go rematch Edwin de los Santos because that was a fluke of a performance. I can't call you a 35 champion when you gave us that performance against Edwin de los Santos, bro. Like, go rematch that dude before you try to ask for Navarrete because you don't deserve that belt, let alone deserve to be called a champion, let alone a fight for unification. Fuck that. Go run that shit back with Edwin. Hell nah.
I don't want to see that fight.
I'm not
Yeah, I
gonna
don't want to see it
one
either.
of our best Mexican fighters just so Shakur can walk around. Oh, I'm a unified champion, bitch. No, you ain't, bro. Hell
But
no.
then you got people.
Edwin de los Santos is as boring as Shakur Stevens.
No,
No, hell no. Look at that
no.
Rayo Valenzuela fight, bro.
Yeah, yeah. That's he made him look bad. Like he made De Los Santos look bad with him. You know, like De Los Santos was trying to engage, bro. Like he is a fan friendly fighter, bro. Like he's really athletic. Uh, dude, he beat Ryo, bro. He knocked out Ryo. They're actually fighting again. They're at a rematch. You know, so on the Tank Frank Martin undercard. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna get back.
Okay. So Siniesa Estrada,
Excuse
your
my
Costa
language, guys. I
Valle.
don't mean to cuss and get so you know.
Yeah, no, that was offensive. You called the guy
Yeah. I didn't need it.
and I was like,
Yeah,
man,
you take back that
like you
statement, man. It's just like, Shakur is very spoiled, man, and he really gets on my nerves. I don't even think he's that great of a fighter. I don't even think he's a decent boxer at best. If you're such a great fighter, you don't have that fight performance versus Nakatalia, and you don't have that performance against Edwin de los Santos. I can't call you a great fighter. You're not a 3-time divisional champion. Like, he gets so much, he's spoiled, and for some reason, Top Rank gives him so much pull, and it's like, why? Why do you guys want him to be the face? He's gonna fail you every single time, and until he shows me otherwise. But I'll take back that B-word. He don't deserve to be called that, even though he hits women on the ground. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
yeah,
he just
yeah.
that was
Okay,
just,
well then, if you're gonna go that way, yes, he is. Yeah, he is actually.
Like, that's that dude, bro. Like,
Yeah.
man, this
Yeah,
is
Yeah.
so there are so many fights, guys. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Don't forget tomorrow. If I'm not mistaken, it's on Wednesday, right? Tomorrow, Tuesday, there's pro box fight.
yeah.
One of the fighters that we used to admire, one of the fights that people don't really give too much credit to, Lomachenko, is the Axeman, Walters.
Nicolas Watson
Nicolas Waters is
Who's he
back.
fighting?
against Joseph Adorno, dude.
That's a good
Joseph
fight.
Adorno, the guy who made what's his name, Jermaine Ortiz sleep against the ropes with a busted nose. It looked like he just opened
He
up the
was not
faucet.
sleeping.
He was like,
Yeah, he was bleeding. Joseph Adorno dropped. He dropped him, no?
No, he
well,
just
no.
Oh,
nah. Technically, no. He just kind of. It looked like he zoned out inside the ropes, but I think he kind of stayed. When you're outside of the ropes, you can't get punched, so that's why he stayed outside of the ropes.
uh,
So yeah, that's what happened, and it just looked like he was stuck physically, and it looked like he was just like knocked out, but it wasn't. It was just a quick check hook that kind of made his head go
who wins
outside of
that
the.
fight?
I think Ordorno wins. Oh wait,
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh
wait,
wow!
wait,
Both of them are coming
wait.
off of like basically
Yeah,
like 2 years in activity and a couple
I
of
know.
losses, barely coming to rebound each other. You
That's what I
know
was
that,
thinking
right?
about. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that, and I think that's why I like it because I like when fight. I mean, I don't like when fighters are inactive. Actually, I think somebody else should get the opportunity. But I think when they do give them opportunities,
Hmm.
why not give them an opportunity with someone in the same type of situation as you, as far as like, inactivity? Like I like
Hmm.
stuff like that. Nothing like Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. Like I like the names, but just man, they're just in different parts of the career. Like that, I don't like that. I like that. I don't like the Keith Thurman shit, but I do this. So yeah, man.
The only thing I wanted to say, guys, check this out. If we go back
Whoa.
to Joseph Adorno's last 6 fights, right? Well, after he lost, he had a majority draw with Jermaine Ortiz. He lost to Michel Rivera, who was 22-0. He felt so bad about that defeat that he had to take on a so soft touch and Juan Santiago, who had a winning record of 16, 20 losses and 2 draws. This is how bad Michel Rivera put it on Adorno. He fought a guy with an upside down record. In fact, the next fight over, he has it with Roberto Monreal, an upside down fighter, 10-17. Then he gets a little perked up, he gets a little mojo going, and then he decides to test himself against Hugo Alberto Roldan, who had a winning record of 21-0, and he wins majority decision, unanimous decision, in fact. And then he fought Elvis Rodriguez, lost.
Yeah,
Edwin De Los
he's
Santos,
good though.
lost. Yeah, and then Jonathan Perez, who again almost has an upside down record, 41-38. Here's the thing, guys. I don't think Joseph Adorno really thinks he's got it in him. I don't think he is.
I don't
Well,
know, man.
I don't think he. Look, there comes a moment when
He
you're
never
when
said no mas. That's why Nicholas Walters was never
yeah.
heard afterwards because of Nicholas Walters. He's the one that doesn't have it in him. Joseph Adorno, sure he's gotten beat by Edwin De Los Santos. Sure he got beat by Edwin Rodriguez, but he's never said I quit. Nicholas,
Yeah.
and he's only known for beating a small Nonito Donaire who was challenging himself in his 5th or 6th weight class. When he stepped up into competition, when he finally fought somebody that had more pull, that had momentum, and they kept Nicholas Walters on the shelf for a year before he fought Lomachenko, he said, no mas. Joseph has never done that or turned his back. Joseph's
But
not the
here's the
top
thing.
guy. Nicholas Walters is the one that does it.
Look, Nicholas Walters was a victim of circumstance, right? You know that he did not want to fight Lomachenko after a year layoff, and I think he was even a 1 weight class lower than Lomachenko, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong, but he did not want to fight Lomachenko. And here's the thing, though, he quit because he was outclassed. But what he done after he
Joseph
felt
Adorno
betrayed.
was sitting
No, no,
outside
no.
multiple
Nick,
fights too, and he never quit like that.
yeah, but Nicholas Walters, he felt betrayed by the people that built him up into his career to just sick him out there with Lomachenko, laying him off almost intentionally. Because
No,
if I'm not mistaken, when he fought Lomachenko, he was coming off of a great win, right? He was coming up of having beaten Miguel Mariaga, who was undefeated. He had beaten Nonito Donaire, and then he had a draw with Jason Sosa. That draw led him to, obviously that means he's going on the decline. They decide to lay him off for a whole year after having a draw, and then they put him against Lomachenko. I don't think that's a fair deal to have put him on there, and he just felt outclassed. But you know what? He never fought guys with upside down records after that. He basically retired for like, wow, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 7 years retired, guys.
I
He's
know
seven.
Joseph Adorno is supposed
What?
to piece this dude apart, bro. Like, I mean, he's 38 years old. He's been really removed from this. Like, I'm trying to give Pro Box the benefit of the doubt because they're on a small budget. But Pro Box, they're not the one investing in these fights. They're just the ones that are televising these fights or
From what I
distributing.
understand, yeah.
I also want to say this. Like about 2 weeks ago, they put this guy named Hot Rod, right, versus Sullivan Barrera,
Oh yeah.
who was
Hmm.
2, 3 years removed from the sport.
I know.
Like I understand that you're trying to make fights, content, and get people paid, because why not? But bro, this can't be professional boxing if you're getting guys that are off the couch and removed from the sport. Like, and you're putting them in once. Like Joseph Adorno is supposed to knock out Nicholas Walters, right? And yes, I do understand that Joseph Adorno needs a couple of tune-ups and soft touches, but yeah, fuck it, bro. Like, I'm not gonna be too hard on him. But you get what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like,
They
But
do.
homie Ricky, then let me ask you, this is the way that the Pro Box promotes themselves, right? Pro Box has their own venue in Plant City, California. Pro Box promotes. Pro Box puts their label on the ring, on everything, and then all these venues get to basically go over there and fight over there. And Pro Box says, we promise you 2 events a month. Let me ask you something. If you're saying that these fights that are taking place are not necessarily under the tutelage and the care, the auspices, I mean, of Pro Box, then how do they know what fights they will be able to provide a month? Is what I'm trying to say. They have to have some kind of contracts with these companies in order to make those fights a reality, in order to sell them to people as 2 fights a month. So I know I've heard this rumor that Pro Box is just like a broadcaster, but how are they securing all of these fights then?
well, I'm not exactly too sure what their business model is, but it would behoove them to have a venue. It would behoove them to have those cameras already stationed there so they can, well, have the venue. Now, the matchmakers, you go ahead and do your job. We already have the location. We already have the means to distribute it. And that's proper. That's if that's their business model, that they're coming to the promoter with two themes. We're going to distribute your fight, and we get to keep the distribution, rights in the videos, and be able to, allocate them into our app or into, our YouTube channels and content. It's very that's probably their business model. They're essentially a young HBO in the making. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they go as far as to matchmaking or paying these fighters any upside. I don't think so.
You guys are
Like,
talking
they
about
would
the Showbox.
probably the Muhammad Ali act. I don't know, bro. I don't really know. You reach out to Paulie. Paulie would probably give you the spiel, or Chris Algieri.
Oh yeah. So they pay their fighters a lot, bro. Like they got so much investors like invested in this stuff. Uh, I forget how much money they garnered, but over the past couple of months, bro, they've been extremely like successful, bro. So a lot of the fighters are happy to be fighting on their cards. Like that's what I'm hearing, and they're mostly like in Orlando, like the Florida area.
Yeah,
And I guess because I listened to the TBV podcast, that they pretty much say that their experience, like their fan experience inside, is like none other, bro. Like they got like luxurious, like everything, bro. Like they got free drinks, and it's a little like it's a little bit more fan friendly when you're like going there live. Like that's what I'm actually hearing. So
Interesting.
maybe they're charging shit hella shit for those tickets. You know, maybe that's what's making driving the price the fighters pay up. You know, so I
You're
mean,
talking about the full box?
yeah, pro box. My bad, I said show
Interesting.
box.
No, no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm hearing, bro. So I mean, it's something to support. They're still, I feel like they're still getting better. I think
Oh, easily, for sure.
yeah, they're definitely improving. But that hot rod guy, that's someone that they've been catering to for a long time.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think they're just, you know, they're just trying to find him, you know, some fights. But I mean, he's still good, but the guy he fought wasn't supposed to be in the ring with him for sure.
So I know that you guys have the Pro Box app, but in that Pro Box app, do they say these are Pro Box fighters or no? Like if I'm
Uh,
sure there's a website, but do they have like, oh, these fighters, these are the ones that we have in terms of our content?
No, no, I've never seen that.
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah,
No,
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 uh,
no. I think what they do, homie Ricky, what I suspect is that they contract people. They
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Look, guys, I think you and him would be a great fight. Do you guys want to do it? We have $5,000."
I don't know about that because I do remember Paulie saying or Chris Algieri, and they were like, they
oh
look at which
shit,
fights are coming about. Like for example, Jorge Maravillo from Salinas, he's kind of
fuck.
signed with Tom Loeffler,
I'm sorry.
sort of, because I know he's fought 2 times in that Kashmu or
Oh,
Kamush
so good, dude.
venue over there. So anyway, what they look is they look for those fights that have good prospects or good undercard, and they're like, this guy's on the come up. And then they reach out to them and they're like, hey, we are Pro Box, we're looking to distribute your guys' fights. Do you guys have like a network? And they're gonna be like, no, we're fighting on UFC Fight Pass, or no, we don't really have anybody to distribute. Pro Box then that's where they come in. So they find those venues. Like, for example, let's say Ruben Villa was fighting at the Storm House, right? Or the sports complex, and he wasn't with ESPN or Golden Boy or The Zone or any major network. That's where Pro Box comes in. They try to find those steals, like a Joseph Adorno versus a Nicholas Walters, where they're known, but they're not like $1 million fighters. But
Hmm.
that's their cachet. That's their venue where it's still respectful and reputable to showcase these names and these fights. And that's where Pro Box, has their presence. It's very crafty, bro. And then what's even more is that these are mostly fighters like Chris Algieri and Juan Manuel Marquez and Paulie Malignaggi that teamed up. So then there's that association that these fighters are trying to do their own thing, and it just makes you support them even more. So you know what I mean? It's very well delivered, bro, for sure.
Let me throw these names at you because I know that you guys are betting. I just want to get your opinion. Who's gonna win? Tim Sue, Sebastian Fundora. Just call it. I think Drew and I we talked about it. I think he says Sebastian Fundora might surprise Tim Sue. What do you think, homie Ricky?
Yeah, what do you think?
Tim Sue by like 11th round knockout.
I can see it. I can see it. I can see him
Okay.
getting dropped, just like Brian Mendoza. You know, like, but it might be a little worse. But uh,
So Tim Sue?
I'm gonna go with Tim Zoo now. I think he
Yeah.
just punches way too hard, bro. He just punches too
Also,
hard.
Fandora has been showing he at least in the interviews that I've seen, he's been saying that I'm using more of my IQ, more of my reach. If he's able to do so,
Yeah.
then I can see
That's
him going the distance.
that's a
But
game
Yeah,
changer.
like his best punches are the inside and the uppercuts, and he has
yeah,
to kind of close the distance to land those. We haven't seen Fundora like he uses a jab, but it's more like a reach fighter jab where he's just pawing. It's not really one that's landing like with a
right.
lot of speed and with a lot of like dramatic push behind it. It's
And
just
I
more like I'm doing it just to control, and then when I want to exchange, like boom, boom. But I don't know, man. I think
I
Tim
was
Steele, he's very studious, very crafty. Let
yeah.
alone with all this momentum, like nah, dude, it's going to be. I don't know. It's gonna.
Don't
I mean, how
don't
easy
you
it is to fight a guy who's 7 foot tall.
exactly? I was
So
gonna ask you. Don't you think Tim Zoo's gonna like trip out on his jab length, like how far
yeah,
this
for
dude
sure.
reaches out?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I think it's gonna take a few rounds for his mind to like really like understand how big this dude is. You know, like physically, like or lengthwise. because I can only imagine sparring someone like that, and you're so far away from him. You're like probably 6 feet away from him, and he's still
Well, we
touching
used
you.
to remember that dude Damien.
That was different. He's 6'2". He's
Yeah,
6'3".
but like I don't know, man. He maybe he's like 6'4" now.
This is the thing. We're 5'9", just like
We're
Tim
five
Zoo.
eleven.
Nah, shut up.
I'm
Nah,
six foot four.
we're just like we're literally Tim Zoo's size, and we're
Yeah.
literally Tim Zoo's size, and Tim Zoo is fighting a 6'7" guy. Like
Yeah,
this dude has to what if he finds out that his arm length is too short? He's got to find him in the body. Imagine.
guys. If Fundora starts implementing a jab, game changer. Let's hop on to the next one. Rolando Romero, Isaac Cruz. Come on, guys, call it.
Rolly. Yeah, I gotta go drop a deuce, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
go. You, Drew.
Um. Sorry, I had to burp. I think Rolly, man. I think Rolly. I think Pitt.
What?
But there's this thing. There's the thing.
Uh,
I like the way Rolly's been. Uh. What's it called? His mind has been developing a little better. Like he's been thinking before he speaks, and us as fans, we like to see it because we also like to see his his skills level up along with his ability to talk. You know,
you know that this guy lost to a 40-year-old.
um, he was
He was
stronger
getting
than that
shut down.
40-year-old. He was
He was getting
stronger than
shut
that.
down though.
This is the thing. He is not 40 years old though.
He's like
Like Rolly
44.
is young. Rolly is
No, no,
young.
no, no, no. I'm talking about Barroso. Ismael Barroso.
We
He
talking about him
he.
now?
Yeah, no. Ismael Barroso was beating Rolando Romero for 9 rounds. So what do you think Isaac Cruz, who's a pit bull, who's pretty good at
I'm not talking.
his
I'm
pressure?
talking. I know what's gonna happen.
What
It's
is gonna
just,
happen?
but I'm just saying, like Rolly, like
Mhm.
the fact that he's improving his social skills. I want him to improve his boxing skills along with that. You know, like
So
that's what
you're
I
an
want.
optimist.
Yes.
You're hoping. Okay, all
Like
right. So I guess two.
you made it sound like I was thinking that he's gonna win. Like
Oh,
I'm
okay. So you're hoping that his skills improve as much as his social skills. But I'm saying if you had $20, who you gonna go for? If you can flip your 20 to 100, you're going for Rolando Romero or your Isaac Cruz. Who do you have your money on?
well, it's pretty much it's Pitbull, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, uh, yeah.
It's
Okay.
just what if Rolly manages to find a jab, you know? And then what if it's like good enough to keep him honest, and what if um his power he what if Pitbull realizes actually how strong he is.
Romero,
Um
right? Hmm.
yeah, like what or no, what if Pitbull realizes how strong this guy
Romero
is?
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And he actually has to set it up a little better because Tank had to do that. He still had to be careful. He still said he was the hardest fucking fighter he's ever fought. So I think Pitt's gonna realize that, and I think he's gonna be a little more careful because the way he punches, the way he comes at you, he comes
Hmm.
lunging in with his head down. He does have his hand up, with that defense. He has a tight defense, but
Hmm.
he does have his head down sometimes, and I worry about that a
Uppercut,
little bit.
like
Yeah,
a
I
little
worry.
uppercut right
Yeah,
between.
yeah, but Rolly has to be precise enough to actually like find him on the inside. Like he just has to punch whenever he's inside.
Hmm.
Because it's gonna be that instant. So he has that puncher's chance, bro. He's still a strong motherfucker, and guess what? Rolly is in shape, right? And I'm trying to get in shape, right? This is where I give him props. Like he is still making weight. He's
Hmm.
still he's still doing the bare minimum, but he's uh he's doing what he needs to do, and you gotta give him props for that, So I think the fact that he keeps getting opportunity like this, I think you can kind of hear in his voice. I'm hoping it translates in the ring. Like I know I haven't been seeing anything improve. Too much inside the ring, or I mean, like on video, like as of recently. It's like still the same shit. I think, but I hope he fights smarter. Like I hope he fights a lot smarter, and I'm pulling for him. Even if he loses after this, like I'm still kind of pulling for him, because he's not turning into an AB. He's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
becoming.
that's funny that you mentioned him because you probably read Arimedi's comment. Arimedi is one of my very first
Oh, nice.
listeners. I mentioned him to you. I sent out the notification.
Damn, dude, I
On,
didn't even see that. I
yeah,
just said
he
it.
says, will Rolly Romero become the next Adrian Broner if he loses to Cruz?
No,
Now,
because he's already saying a bunch of stuff about Tank. Like you like AB never even admitted to anyone that, oh, this guy's the face of boxing. The Like he's never admitted to someone that this guy's better than me. Like literally, that's what he's saying. You know, and
what do you mean?
he's talking. He's more humble than him. Like he's
Mm,
speaking in high regards of people. And he's actually like being more compassionate than AB. Like with the Ryan Garcia shit, and like he talks a lot differently than AB.
yeah.
AB talks greasy, bro. Like he talks. That's like his vocabulary is a lot different than Rolly's. Like
Yeah,
Rolly's
he was very
learning.
bombastic and
Rolly's
arrogant, very self assured.
Rolly's learning like respect. You can tell. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
But
It
let
all
me ask you
starts. It all
something.
starts at home.
How do we know the reason he's not talking like that? Is because he has a bit of trepidation.
Well, because he's not
Uh,
doing what he's used to doing. He's
that's
not
what I'm
going.
saying.
He's
Why
not going
do we
live.
know that the reason why he's acting less clownish is because he knows he's got a dog in front of him? See, here's the thing. You
Wait, wait, wait,
stop
hold
talking a
on.
big one when you got a big guy in front of you. You see what I'm
He's
saying? That's what I'm trying to
Well,
get
no,
at.
that's what I'm saying though. Like
not
he's
Ismael
been
Salas.
yeah, but he's been talking like I'm saying before he even got this Pitbull fight. Like he's been kind of like on this humble shit before this fight. You know?
And
Is that
hold on.
true, homie Ricky? Is Rolly Romero been humble, or has he just been less outlandish?
Well,
There's a difference.
before I answer, Rolly he changed trainers, and now he's with a legitimate trainer. I'm not
Mm.
saying Bullet wasn't that dude, but I'm saying Ismael Salas is 10 times better than him.
Oh yeah,
With experience. Also, this Rolly was outboxing Tank Davis when he was using his jab and
that's
just
all.
using his arm length and just the perception
Hmm.
of threat. Tank was giving up so much of that fight.
Yeah,
Obviously, Rolly, like Ryan, they started throwing that same punch either 3 times. Ryan threw 3 left hooks, and Tank is smart enough to understand boom and how to time you off repetitive, not
he had to
changing the
time him up though.
formula. Rolly did the same thing. He tried to double up the 4. And when he did, he gave up his height. Tank countered him, slipped underneath the bro. With Ismael Salas, we know Pitbull Cruz is 10 times the fighter Rolly. We know that. But he's 5 foot tall. And that's always going to give him problems. He's superior to a lot of these fighters. His defense is impeccable. He's got a tough chin. He can crack, but he has to get on the inside. If Rolly fights disciplined and patient, like Liam Wilson against Oscar Valdez, if you guys fight your own fight, if you have to make it boring, so be it. People aren't giving you a shot. But if you upset, people will respect you. I'm
Hmm.
always going to say this. Ismael Barroso at 40 years old, just because of height alone, being at 5'8", he's better than, old boy Pitbull Cruz.
Is that the dude that lost to William Foster?
William Foster.
He's making up last names again, man.
No,
So
William Foster. He fought. Ooh, bro. I know William Foster. He beat
Ismail something. It was
William
like
Foster beat Rayo Valenzuela. No. William Foster, he lost to like one of this dude named Luis Lebron or Henry Lebron.
yo, I know. He actually fought Ismail Barroso on the Showbox card.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's possible. But yeah, Barroso is the guy that knocked out O'Hara Davis in 1 round. And he's
yeah,
also the one that beat Rolly. But, Tony Wiggs did what Tony Wiggs does. And, that's rob older men.
So, homie Ricky,
And
it's
going
so
back to
odd.
his humble thing, I
Yeah,
don't know if Rolly is humble, but he's been less boisterous, and that's mainly
yeah.
because Ismael Salas is not going
Yes.
to allow, and he's not there for the fucking.
Well, here's the thing I gotta say, because we're right now we're preach right now we're talking the good word about this legendary Cuban trainer and Ismael Salas. But here's the thing, though. Recall that Ismael Salas is a trainer for Esteri Suero. You know who Esteri Suero is? The guy who put up
Ah,
one of the dirtiest fights in modern boxing's history against this young
Kid
Texan
Austin
fighter. Huh?
against Floyd Schofield, Kid
Uh,
Austin.
Absolutely. And you
But
know what he told him
is
in
it
the
fair
corner?
to say though?
He,
Is it fair to say that Floyd Schofield is also extremely dirty himself?
no.
Because what I mean by that is like this: this dude is like Sean Porter. He blitzes people, and when he
Okay.
blitzes people, he doesn't cut off the ring properly, like slow and feinting. Bro, that dude runs at you and lunges at you, and then boom. Like one of the things that Sean Porter
That's not
learned the
dirty.
hard way, and one of the things that Floyd Schofield is learning is that when you lunge and you basically charge like a fighting bull, well, the Matador only has a couple of things to do to resist that fucking onslaught blitz. And usually it allows to, clashes and getting underneath you and then dipping you because you're lunging at them. If someone jumps on you, they lost all inside leverage. You got the inside positioning. In football, it's the lower man always wins. And then it allows you to easily dip them. A lot of that stuff was instigated by Floyd Schofield. Like you can't just think, oh, I'm just gonna ragdoll these dudes and just rush through them, and then like these fighters aren't going to respond. A lot of that stuff is self-inflicted wounds from Floyd Schofield.
Yeah, but that's
Like, he tried to
that's
keep
in
the head
itself.
down,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, like you said, it's a self-inflicted wound because of his forward aggression, where he goes over there. Like mentioned, Sean Porter projecting himself head first, and of course that's gonna lead to headbutts and those type of clashes that are gonna, for the most part, at least historically, they are leaving physical traces on his being, not on his opponents. But here's the thing, though. When Ismael Salas, right at the round before they stopped Sueros's fight, he they had already admonished Esteri Suero, and when he went to the corner, this is what Ismael Salas' instructions were: "You keep doing your fight. He's the one that's being dirty. You keep doing your fight." And I'm thinking to myself, Salas, are you telling him to continue picking him up by the legs, tossing him over, hyperextending his arm, grappling, and putting it away? Are you telling him to continue fighting dirty even though they're already starting to take away points from your fighter? Is that what you're telling them? So what I'm trying to say is this: Ismael Salas is not necessarily the fighter that's the trainer
well,
that's gonna make you switch up your game plan and give
true.
you a plan B when you're getting taken over. He's just gonna tell you continue doing what you're doing,
And
and
also
that's why
maybe
his
that
past fighters have been losing.
maybe that style.
Adi Medi says Floyd Schofield has been playing too much Mortal Kombat.
No, man, I'll tell you about Adi Medi. This guy is hilarious, man. He goes to my channel. He's one of my very first subscribers. I love the guy because he never fails to make me laugh. You should go read some of the comments, man. I
Dude,
think he
not only
mentioned I said some good things about Maxi Hughes.
Also remember this. This is Floyd Schofield's second fight. I think
Yeah,
it's back to back where he
yeah,
suffered a head clash. Was the
yeah.
other fighter that he suffered the head clash on his cheek? Right underneath one of his left side of the face or the right side of his face. Was that
Mhm.
because the other guy was dirty? No, the guy that Ismael Barroso fought, against Schofield like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that dude was really dirty. But a lot of that stuff, Floyd, like I stated before, he was the one that brought it upon himself. You see, and he has to learn how to cut off the ring without scaring your opponents in the way that Sean Porter would blitz Paulie Malignaggi, would just go in their shoulders like a tackle and boom, bump shoulders and then start throwing punches and well on you. No, dude, at the end of the day, your job is not there to like those are dirty tactics. But nevertheless, man, that fight already happened. But if you're trying to if people are trying to disrespect Ismael Salas for that type of performance, Well, it's a two-way street, you know. Also, like Salas, I know you said something right now that, oh, he's not necessarily a trainer that's gonna have game plan B or C. Absolutely not. Like, I mean, sorry, you're absolutely wrong. He's known for having outstanding game plans, and he's great at rejuvenating careers, kind of like Robert Garcia. When it comes down to fighters that have taken a loss, like Robeisy Ramirez, then he went to Salas, like Yordenis Ugas when he was going to retire, then he went to Salas, possibly like Rolly Romero. He rejuvenates their careers. Now, there are times when he has fighters like Joe Joyce, but everybody was calling Joe Joyce a juggernaut until he fought up against the Big Bang Zane. You know, so sometimes he does get it wrong, but also that just comes with the game. Sometimes, like Eli Reynoso, all your fighters, your trainer of the year. Then the following year, Oscar Valdez takes a loss to Shakur. Andy Ruiz looks like shit against Chris Arreola. Canelo loses to Bivol. You know, all of your fighters start to lose. No stranger happened to Derrick James. One year, he's got two unified or undisputed champions in Jermell and Errol Spence. The next year, Bud Crawford bombs on Errol. Jermell Charlo gets destroyed by Canelo Alvarez. Frank Martin looks human against a Hungarian or German fighter. And the list goes on, you know what I mean? So, like, that's just part of boxing. You know, you can't win them all. And,
so this is okay. So who do you got? You got Romero, or you got Isaac?
I like underdogs, man. Rolly's gonna win, bro.
Okay, here's the next one. Erislandy Lara, Michael Sarafa, the 43-year-old Cuban versus Michael Sarafa, I think he's like a bodyguard. Who's gonna win that?
Hey, Adi Medi says, bro, I'm mad because Devin stole my joke. Ryan took a knee like Colin Kaepernick. Joke on the face-off on the zone and didn't give me any credit. Yeah, no, that face-off was very. There was this comment that some guy left, and it was like, it's like two students in high school, you know, sitting at the principal's office. So respectful. I was like, yeah, that's so fucking true. Nah, dude, that face-off was not needed. There was no hostility. These dudes are talking about the amateurs. Like, look, I beat you, dude, when you were first starting. Remember I gave you the 10-8 count? And it's just like, bro, you guys are like 10 years, 15 years removed from the amateurs when that happened. Why are you guys talking about that shit?
I know.
They care about the amateurs when Loma, Devin had been undisputed and now he just knocked out Rodriguez. Like, nobody wants to care about 3-round fucking fights with headgear and small ass fucking winning, no pad gloves. Listen,
And then Ryan talking about, I remember when I beat the shit out of you. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it's just
with
like
headgear on?
nobody
With
cares about that.
Hey, what? Yeah, if you think that one was, if you think that was bad, guys.
What happened when Tank was laying punches on you? Why didn't you guys talk about the released footage? Like, bro, you guys are talking about the amateurs. Look, hold on. To answer one, the one statement that you were stating about Erislandy versus Michael Sarafa.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know much about Sarafa, but I will say this.
I haven't seen him in 2 years or 3.
Erislandy Lara, he fought this guy named Gary Spike O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
And
pieced him apart.
Lara did not look so good.
Who?
I'm not too sure what skill set Michael Sarafa has. I know that he fought Kell Brook after Kell Brook moved up to 154. Lara should beat him, but Lara at maybe 42 years old, he might get beat, bro.
Yeah. Now, what about you, Drew? Give me a name. Lara Sarafa.
I think Lara's kind of looking old, man. Just by the way, I'm looking at some of his training videos, and I don't know, he looks kind of old to me. The thing is, he's always had a jab, and his jab's always been elite.
He's
always had legs.
And that's the thing, is his legs gonna keep up with his hand or with his upper body, So I don't know. He's always had.
So his legs go one way and his body goes another.
Yeah, yeah. No, but the thing is though, like when you have a good jab like that, it kind of remains the same. Like I think he's gonna come with a good jab. I think Zarafa might get the win, bro, because he's a little more active. Lara's not as active as this guy.
Adi Medi says, "What do you know why Romero, Erislandy Lara, Rigondeaux, and Frank Sanchez have short hair?"
Why?
I don't know.
Hey, we're waiting. We're waiting.
Yeah, I know.
Sounds
It's
good.
gonna be
It sounds.
hilarious, bro.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good joke. Okay, while he answers that, let's go on to this one.
Because they go up to
Brian
the barber and say, "Córtame el pelo, chico."
Córtame el pelo, chico. Oh man, that's hilarious. Cut my hair short. Okay,
Yes,
how
man.
about this?
I gotta wrap it up on my end, but
Okay, here's the last
if
one.
you
Here's the
guys
last
wanna
one.
do your thing,
Brian,
I'll let you guys talk.
here.
But,
Wait. Before you leave,
uh,
Brian Mendoza, and Brian Mendoza and Bohachuk, Serhi Bohachuk.
Brian Mendoza.
All right, man. Peace.
Yeah,
He said, "All right, man." No, Brian Mendoza. Brian Mendoza.
yeah.
He's been
There's too
sparring
much
and
boxing,
been
homie
training.
Ricky.
Yeah, he's been sparring and training with Tim Sue. He did that was a great performance and a great fight. But I don't know much about Bobacek, but I guess we'll soon find out, right? This Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. I was just gonna ask you one last thing. Are you gonna watch the free ESPN fights, including an undisputed female fight, or are you gonna pay the extra premium $75 to watch the fights that we just ran down?
Broke. I'm watching free fights.
Okay, I guess it'll be my turn to pay for them. Alrighty, well,
I gotta wrap it up, guys. I'll see you guys maybe some other time.
We'll talk the rest on maybe your channel, Speed. But
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a good night, fellas.
all right, man.
all right.
Yeah.
Good night. Good
All right,
night,
man.
everybody.